I think we're ready to get started. So like for a quick poll, I'm guessing you three are mentors. So like how many people are mentors? Oh, a lot, okay. So, and then like any lead scouts or strategy or that kind of thing. And then so the rest of you are like scouters or students or that kind of thing. Cool. So just making sure everyone's in the right place. This is like about FRC scouting and using an app. So actually, how many people have used or like heard of Robot Scouter before? Cool. So for the rest of you, I'm gonna go over like some stuff, well basically just what it is, and kind of like where I started with V1. And then we're gonna go on to what I'm doing for this year, and then maybe like some far future stuff if I have time in college. But so to start, the basic idea with Robot Scouter was just to make things like really simple. So our team started out with paper. Paper's not great. It's like messy to organize. And then so I was looking for existing solutions, and I mean, some of them I like it, but they felt kind of clunky. Like some of them you have to set up a database, and also like the exporting. A lot of them seem to export in CSV format, and I feel like you can just do it better with Excel, even though you can import CSV. But so basic idea was to build something where there's no public-facing databases, like you just get going, you're ready to roll. So yeah, the no setup part. And then up top here, the nots dependent on a specific year's game. So there the ideas, maybe the first, but basically for most apps out there or systems I've seen, it's all like year-based. So there's gonna be a specific template for the year, something like that. So the idea here is that the user can actually build their own template, and it should be like from the app. So again, the no setup part, you don't have to like go and do JSON or something. So you can just easily get going, create your own thing, your own way of collecting data. And then it's got to work offline. And then for the exports part, Robot Scouter always started with Excel because pretty formatting, and you can do several sheets and all of that. So yeah, putting those ideas together, what we started with was basically the idea that you have templates that you can customize. So this is actually a screenshot from version 2. It was uglier like in the older versions. But basic idea is you have a bunch of ways to collect data. So like that's a checkbox. This is a stopwatch, so you can collect like cycle time. And then you have like counters. And I'll go over all the different ones later. But the idea is that you're building your own form, essentially, from within the app. And we provide defaults if you don't want to like do your own thing. But most people, I think, just go like and build their own. So the other idea was other scouting apps or systems seem to do it by match. And I mean, that's good, but basically I wanted it to go from competition to competition. So instead it's organized by team, so you can like carry over data from your several competitions to build up this really like, you can basically see how the team has performed over several different competitions. So yeah, that's just an example where here you see the list, and so it's basically just organized by each team. And then on the right there, that would be like your form and the way you're actually going to collect the data. So those are the checkboxes, stopwatch, other stuff, but I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And yeah, so then this is like a sample Excel spreadsheet. I don't know much about statistics, so sadly, like, I'd like to make it better. But essentially the idea is down here, when in your Excel spreadsheet, you're gonna have a summary view, and it'll show you like all the different teams all in one nice sheet. And then you're going to have a sheet per team. And that's what you're seeing here. So these are all the different metrics. And they're exported, like for the checkbox, it'll be like true, false, or if you have numbers, it will be exported as the numbers. So that's like what we started with, the ideas. And so then what we ended up getting was this. So that's the existing thing. The screenshots have been shown, have all been from v2. But if you download it right now, that's basically what you get. So it was just the first idea, and there's a lot, but always trying to iterate on that. So yeah, for current features, like what we've got right now, if you download it, is the ability to just create a single template. So you can customize like one template, but so that's not really flexible. So v2 fixes that. And then all the team scouts templates, that's all going to work offline. So of course we kept that. So then we also have media. So what we saw last year was that teams didn't always upload the latest pictures of their robot to Blue Alliance. And so Robot Scouter uses the pictures like it's shown prominently, so you can figure out what robot you're looking for by just looking at the picture. So later in the season, when it was already kind of too late, we added a feature that basically let you take a picture from the app, and it would go through and add it to your database and then the Blue Alliance, so that it would be available for everyone. So hopefully for next year, you'll be able to just take a picture, it'll go off to the Blue Alliance, and then everybody will benefit from that. And so then you can share your data with either like your devices, you're gonna like log in, and so you'll be able to just sync it across your team devices, or if you wanna share it with like another team, they want some of your data, you can do that too. And so then, yeah, you can export your data. And so then we have a large kind of list of stuff that wasn't the best. So, and the idea is we're trying to fix all of this for v2. So yeah, again, the thing with the templates is you only had one, so it was kind of not, you couldn't really do much with it. And then for syncing data offline, like right now this is still, like we're working on it, but basically if you want to export a spreadsheet with all the data, you kind of have to connect up to the internet and let it sync everything. And we're working to basically make it so that you can just like select a pool of devices and grab the data directly off those devices so that you could export spreadsheets, like the latest spreadsheet, without having to connect to the internet. So then we also want, like, since everything is organized by team, what we've seen is it would also be nice to have a bit of stuff going for the matches, because right now it's not really, you just have the concept of a scout, but nothing really related to matches. And then, yeah, the user interface could be improved, and then just other little tidbits, so like supporting the latest version of Android, security, so the existing version, I mean, I don't think it really matters too much unless you have like high security data, which I don't think that's really it for scouting. But basically just trying to make sure that no one can mess with your data, since I manage the server. And then, yeah, stuff for tablets. So when we started out last year, we didn't really have tablet support, so trying to improve that and make it so that it works on bigger screens. And then also the exporting experience, like to get the spreadsheet, was kind of iffy. But trying to fix all of that basically for this year. So first, some stats for what we have going like so far for this year compared to last. So basically we've added a whole bunch of commits, lots of code has changed. we're at a total of about 17,000 lines of code, so that's pretty cool. Like last year's robot for our team, I think we made it to 2,000. So basically a lot's going on. So to address the scouting templates, so that's like new in v2.0, and I'll explain later how you can get 2.0, because right now it's a little bit, I'm still working on it. There are a few things that are broken, so I haven't shipped it yet. But I'm gonna try and see if I can basically do a demo. Okay. Cool. So, cool. It's all squished on the projector, but okay. So this is like what's coming for the 2017 season. So basically now with Robot Scout you can do both pit scouting and match scouting. And so when you export it, we'll take all your pit scouts and put it in one file, and all your match scouts and put it in another file. So it's cleanly separated and all that. So for the demo, for those of you who've used the old version, you would find basically the template editing thing. It was hidden. You had to like actually go to a team, and then you would click Edit Next Scout Template. So very like not really intuitive. So now there's just this side navigation thing, and you have the template editor. So you can go just directly to the editor, and you have all your things, your templates here. So when you add a template, I said that we have defaults. So right now we provide a default for a match scout or pit scouting, and then also just a blank one. So like if we start, for example, with a blank one, you have a little thing here. You can set it as default, so I'll just do that. And so then here it's same as last year essentially, but if you haven't used Robot Scouter, here you have all your different metrics. So I'll just go over them real quick so you have, add them all.
So is this an app on the App Store, or is that what this is? Like
Yeah.
your phone?
And then I'll get to like downloading all that
Okay,
later.
because I
But
found one that says FTC, but it's for FRC too, or?
you could use it for FTC, I think.
Oh, it said FTC.
But no, the app, if you want to look, well actually, I don't think that's an iPhone, right? Yeah, so I'm working on getting it available for iOS, but it's kind of
It's only for
hard.
Android?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully, like the idea, at least what our team has done, is we just have like pretty cheap Android tablets. So like I think we got them for $90 or something. And then like if your team members don't have like a phone or something that would work, you can basically just give them the tablets, or at least that's what we've done. But okay, so yeah, for the templates, or what you're going to basically be using to scout is here. This is kind of like a thing that you can use to create sections. So that's new in 2.0. So like if I move this around to like, I don't know, here. It's kind of hard to see on the projector, but when you're actually using the app, you basically now have like two bubbles essentially. So it's a way to just like section off how you're going to organize your stuff. So for example, you could start out, and usually how it's organized is you would start out and you'd have something like autonomous. I can't spell. Well, anyway, autonomous. And then down here you would have teleop. So you can organize your thing in sections. So you're going to have like your header, and so that's essentially what that is when you try to create a new one. It'll be called the header. So then you can create your different sections. There's also the checkbox. So that's just if you have like, did the robot climb or something. And so then each time here, what you're doing is essentially just giving it a name. And that's what the scouters are going to actually see when they're using the app. And so then here, that's your stopwatch. So you can collect data about like how long it took a team to perform some tasks. So we use that to like figure out how long it would take them to deliver a gear or do something like that. Here, it's called a note. It's essentially just like extra information you want scouters to give you. So like you could have just an other section at the end or something, or like how did the robot do just in general. And then people can type in text. And then you have the counter, which is just if you want to like count like the number of gears a robot got, or balls shot or something. And there's also a unit. So what you can actually do is if you look, keyboard crashed. Let's try that again. All right, well. Yeah, it's an emulator, so I'm guessing. But okay, so essentially the idea is you can have a unit. Okay, well, keyboard's not happy with me. But maybe if I type it directly. Let's see. Hey, okay. So I was looking for the percent symbol. So the idea is that if you want, for example, just to figure out like an approximation or something, a trick we've used is you just add the unit, the percent or something, and then you can just have scouters say like about how many balls did the robot get in, like 70% or something. So yeah, that's useful like if you don't want a specific number. And then there's also what I call a selector. And it's essentially like if you have a list and multiple options, and you just want to let someone pick from a set of options, so they don't have to like type it out or anything. So that's essentially for the templates, creating your templates for v2.0. So yeah, the idea is you're creating a template for the scouters to be using, and so that's the whole thing where it's not based on a year. We do provide defaults that are based on a year, but you could use it for whatever you want. So like for your question with FTC, you could build, I don't really follow what's going on in FTC.
No, you know what, it was just, I was looking on here and it had FTC Scout Router, so I was like, where's the FTC?
Oh.
That's all. Yeah.
So no, yeah, the idea is that, like, in theory, you can use this for anything you want. I mean, it's not even, it's called Robot Scouter, but you could probably use it for like, I don't know, sports or something. Yeah. So you just can create whatever kind of template or way of collecting data that you want. So syncing data offline, the whole export like without having to connect to the internet to get a spreadsheet. I'll go into this more in detail a little bit later, but trying to get 2 releases, one for BunnyBots and one for the actual 2018 season. So this one is not going to make the cut for BunnyBots, but for 2018, I'm hoping to get it out there. And so then for the UI, just to like briefly show, just so some of the improvements we made is basically like for tablet mode, trying to really think about how we can improve the experience for tablets. So there's like padding, and then again those bubbles, trying to make it really streamlined so that when you're scouting, you can see like right away where you're supposed to be looking and make it easy to get from looking at a match to down back at a screen. So then, for not a lot of people have the latest version of Android, but if you do, we support it. So notification channels became a thing, and then we autofill your name. So I don't think this is set up right for that. Yeah, no. But so if it were like, oh, it is. So yeah, if you click here, or just if you name, like this is kind of a trick. So if you name your, if you name the text, so the note, if you just put the word name in there, we're gonna try to autofill it by giving the user's name. So as you saw there, when it showed up. So essentially to make it easy, so for a scouter, if you're using a name over and over, you can just click it and you're good. You don't have to actually type it again and again. So then yeah, for security, for v1.0, we basically didn't have much of anything, so everyone could get access to your data. I'm not aware of that happening, but I mean, hopefully it's not that big of a deal. But for v2.0, we're fixing that, and it's already in there. There are a few edge cases with some of it. So like for teams, they can get access to like the team metadata, but so that's just like the name and that kind of thing. So that doesn't really matter. But like for v2.0, in theory, all your scouts, only you can access your scouts and your templates. So then for tablet support, yeah, basically the padding and all that, and then also there was like this really nasty bug where if you like rotated your screen, okay, that didn't work. But here, let me try. Cool. So yeah, that's simulating rotating a screen. But essentially, like if you rotated your screen and you had a tablet, bad things would happen. So now, basically that's fixed, and so you can just go back and forth, and it'll bring you right back to where you were. So it should be unbreakable. If it breaks, you can let me know in a GitHub issue, which I'll go over later. So then for exporting, that was, since the templates kind of came in later, I didn't really think too much about that. So it was really slow, and basically now I've made it a lot faster. So it should be just like maybe a 1 minute ordeal. Before it could take like up to 5 or something. So it should be not just fairly easy. So then for efficient scouting by match, the idea there is, so that's what, if you read the presentation, like description or whatever, I mentioned auto scout, so that's essentially what this is. So we're trying to, like for Robot Scouter, I'm not doing much in data analysis. Like I export an Excel spreadsheet that you can use, and I'm basically leaving Excel and you to figure out how to Excel. But yeah, so the focus here is really on trying to make scouting easier, especially for like stands managers. Like if you're trying to lead a team of a few scouts, like 3 or 4 scouts. So yeah, auto scout, calling it. So the idea with having low stress, and this is not going to be available for bunny bots, but for 2018 it should be there. So this is like where in theory we can do some really cool stuff. So I'm excited about this one. The idea is essentially to have not like machine learning and actually like you just take a video and it scouts for you, but it should be able to just make it really simple. So like if you're a lead scout, you shouldn't have to do anything. It should just be able to tell the people scouting for you who to scout. I'll explain how that's determined, and then it'll tell like the scouters where the team is on the field, so like that stress during when you're starting out and you basically have no idea where the team is, trying to figure out where they are, so it should be able to tell you where they are. And then just managing like the whole thing with scouting different teams and going through the matches, like it should be able to just manage all that for you. And then yeah, so figuring out like who is valuable, it should be able to just, so to do that, like the idea I've come up with is to start out, it'll essentially try to get as flat data as possible, so get every team like have at least one scout and then every team at least 2 scouts. So you have data for all teams. And then as you go on later in the competition, you're going to start wanting to focus on specific teams. So at that point you can like tell Auto Scout that you want to focus on those teams, and if those teams are in a match, then it'll pick those above other teams. And so then the other idea is just to make it really simple, like scouting should just be accessible for everyone, and not this big deal. So you should, what I'd really like it to be able to do is you just pick an event you're going to, and it'll automatically find all the teams, get that all ready for you, get the match schedule so that you're just ready to go, and then I would like to try and figure out how to get a schedule generated. I'm not sure. That could be complicated because like different scout names, like the people scouting, figuring out like who they are and assigning IDs and that kind of thing. But if possible, you should also be able to say like I have X number of scouters, and just figure out a schedule based on how many scouters I have, and like give them an hour break or something. Yeah, and so then all of this, the whole experience, like where you have your devices and one of them is telling the others, like the other scouters who to scout and all that should work offline. And for the lead scout, they should be able to see like the progress other scouters are making, so like what team they're scouting. I could maybe even add a thing that checks like if the screen has been touched for a certain amount of time, so you could like just stick and whack people that aren't paying attention. But essentially to just make it really easy for like a rookie team or just people who've been doing paper, or just make it dead simple. You just say, I'm going to an event, and then the rest should be figured out for you. So then, yeah, that's essentially v2.0 is going back to that. So essentially like this whole list of features, the idea is to have all of that ready for the 2018 season. And I'd say about like half to 75% of them are done, and you can like try them out today, which I'll go into a little bit later. But yeah, so just I wanted to do a bit of tips and tricks kind of thing. So I've noticed like even within our team, some people get a little bit confused. So there are a lot of kind of hidden buttons that I should try to make less hidden. But so you can, so here, I'll do a demo. Okay. Okay, so like if you have, let me scoot that over. If you have your list of teams, where's my mouse? Cool. So yeah, for some people we're confused as to like how you export the teams. So well, in v2.0 you actually have a button here. So now it's just simple. Like if you want to export everything, you just click that and it'll export all your data for all your teams. But otherwise, you can long press an item and then click on others, or you can just click or tap on the like team icon logo / thing. And so then, yeah, kind of, I mean, it's not really hidden, like this is what you have in Gmail and that kind of thing, but you can perform like bulk actions. So like if you want to delete a bunch of teams or export several of them, that's how you can do it. And then, so also for the media, like if you want to take a picture of a team and you don't want to like get out your camera or something, you can just long press like the team's icon or whatever it is, like their picture, and then it'll ask you if you want to upload it to the Blue Alliance, and then it'll start up a camera, and so then you can just quickly like take a picture of a team's robot, and apparently that's what an emulated camera looks like. So yeah, so some other tips. For v2.0, since you have several templates, you can long press on the plus button for a team, or you could do it up here too, like there's the plus button to add a scout up here. So if you long press either of those, you get a list, and you can essentially just select the template you want to start from. So there's also a setting, not donate. There's also a setting like here where you set the default template you want to use. But like if you're pit scouting or just in the middle of something and you want to quickly change templates, you just long press the plus button, and then you'll get to see all the templates. And so then here, it's not visible on the projector, but there's like a line between these in the app that you can see. So the top two are always going to be the default like provided ones we give you, and then everything under that line. So these three are going to be yours. And then the star there is just saying like what the current template is. And I guess like, yeah, so if you remember, we created this template, so you can see like just if I add a new one, that's what it is. And there are no names because we didn't put any names in there. But you can imagine like if you put the names of each metric, they would show up there. So it's like really easy to just create your own way to collect data. Yeah, so then another thing is you can actually change the name of the scout, and then when it's exported in Excel, that'll also show up. So what we used, and I haven't figured out a good naming scheme yet, but basically we would have like people's initials, so you do like AS dash and then whatever the number of the thing is. But you could do it, like you don't have to do it because it just gives you the default, but if you want to, you can. And then for the counter metric, so that would be the numbers, if you just long press the number, you can quickly change it. So like I could go to 400 really quickly, instead of like if you actually like tried to press up or down 400 times. That's not pleasant. So, oh yeah, and then just for the stopwatch, if you have a value like in seconds or whatever and you don't want it anymore because maybe you realized you messed up or something, you can long press that and it'll give you an option to delete it. So essentially just try to long press things. Like most of the time there'll be some sort of hidden option you can use. And then, so that was also a thing like with making it easier for tablets. There are now keyboard shortcuts. So if we go back here, I can just type N, and that's going to say new. It's like, actually we support Chromebooks too. So my mom like has a Chromebook, and it's really weird to play around with an Android app on a Chromebook, but that's a thing. So you could just like type in N for new, and then so you can quickly like create a new scout for a team. There's also the E button, which is to just export all the teams. And then D is for the team details page, which looks like that. So that's just kind of the team metadata, and you can change it if you want. Like you can change the name of the team if for some reason Blue Lines doesn't have the correct name. Or you could also put in a different URL for the picture, like if you don't like the picture that the Blue Lines has. And then for that page, I also want to improve it, like add some sort of stats, so you could like quickly see like how many scouts it has, that kind of thing. So more stuff should be coming to that page. And then I don't have any shortcuts for the template list yet, because I haven't thought of any. And so then just some other tricks. If you press OK in the team details thing, which is that screen again, down there there's the OK button. So for some reason, like, I don't know, you know that the Blue Lions changed the name of something or like has a new picture. When you press OK, that's kind of like, it's mostly for me, but it lets you force refresh it, so it'll pull the latest data from the Blue Lions. And I guess I haven't mentioned this, but yeah, all the pictures and the team names and all that, that's all from the Blue Lions. Oh yeah, and then something else not everyone might know is if you want to delete a metric that you're working on here, you can just swipe it away, and it'll just go away. And so then, yeah, to wrap it up, basically, so for the plan is to try to get what you've seen, like what I've demoed. There are just a few little things I've got to get finalized, and so then you should be able to use that for bunny bots. But if you want to try it right now, so you can go to this bit.ly. And by the way, the slides, they're, I don't know if there's a thing for Gladstone, but like I have a Twitter account, and I've posted them on there. And that's just my standard thing. It's Super Silex, so super and then Cilex. And that's also the GitHub. So if you just want to like go to the GitHub, it'll be like bit.ly/robotscouter. So that shouldn't be too hard to remember. And then right now, so the reason I'm also holding off is because we changed like how the database works internally. So if you upgrade all the data you have right now, so if you have an installation of Robot Scouter, everything you have right now will be wiped. So that's why it's 2.0 and not like 1.2 or something. So that shouldn't happen for any other year, but we just had to do it for this year. And so yeah, if you have, so basically there you can download it. And so first you have to join the alpha channel because it's not available yet, but for bunny bots, v2.0 should be shipped with the features I demoed. And then yeah, so if you want to basically play around with it for bunny bots or just see what it's like, and you have like some feedback or bugs or anything, there's another bit.ly and it's rs and then GitHub issues. And yeah, so then, does anyone have any questions? Yeah?
So you keep all of this in a database somewhere. Is every team who scouts using this, is their data separate from everybody else?
Yeah,
or?
yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, so yeah, actually,
Have you considered, like maybe after a weekend competitions or whatever, then making everybody's data available to any other team so they can use it for pre-scouting information for the next competition?
so actually, so this is getting into far future stuff. But, so what I would essentially want for like later seasons is a way for you to say, I'd like my data to be available for everyone. And so then there would be like a public section, and so we would store it essentially so that anyone could see it. So like for rookies or whatever, if you just want to share your data, then rookies could just get basically a pool of all the data. Database, well, I mean, database-wise, that shouldn't be too hard, but then there's like the whole content, like how do we know if it's a good scout or a bad scout, and so, yeah. And then other stuff for the future, I've thought of also having, like right now, any users, like if you're leading a team of scouts, like in competition, any user can change like settings or that kind of thing. So that's not good because, I don't know, in our team, we've had people mess around with that and we've asked them to not, but I mean, I don't know, playing around with it. So ideally there'd be a way to lock that down so you could say like, password protect these settings or something. But that's not gonna happen for 2018. That would be like down the line. But yeah, so I've thought of it.
Do you
Yeah?
know how many of the FRC teams actually use this program?
That's hard to admit. So I have download stats, and so around last year I think it peaked at around like 400 or something. But that would be that's not teams though, because that's the number of devices.
Oh.
So you would have to divide that by like, I don't know how many devices each team has. Like we have 3, but then a few other people. It's maybe like 400 divided by 5 or something, and that would be the number of teams.
Okay.
But yeah, we saw teams, like we went to districts and there were teams there using it. So, and of course we use it. So if there are any bugs or stuff like that, we suffer first. Yeah.
What is the Blue Alliance?
Oh, are you new or a rookie or just okay? So yeah, Blue Alliance is like. If you don't know, definitely Blue Alliance is huge. So they collect data for pretty much like everything. So that's like their website, and they have events. So like if you're looking for your event, you can like click on an event, and they have it organized by weeks, and you can like see the teams that are going there. And Blue Alliance will have who won, scores, data they count. So Blue Alliance, they just have like, I mean, that would be the place to go, in my opinion, to figure out like when you're at a competition or something. Because they have rankings, they just have everything. And then you can like go to a team and you can see like, did they win awards? Oh, these people won the regional, not bad.
1619 though. You
True.
should.
But yeah, so for Robot Scout, we basically just pull all the data from there because, I don't know, I like them. They're really good.
Blue Alliance sources a lot of their data from FIRST databases as well.
Yeah.
From the FMS that collects all that data off the field, that's available through APIs from the FIRST website, and then the Blue Alliance lays a lot of this stuff on top of that to help the teams get more information out of it. It's a really great resource.
I've heard, so like I've gone, or like talked to a few Blue Alliance people, and I've basically heard that you need like special keys or something.
You do,
to get.
but I think they're available if you ask for them. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Blue Alliance was just for me was easier because like,
The
yeah.
Blue Alliance's API is also free to use.
And it's a superset, right?
It's a superset, and then you have to know a little bit about how to access a web service,
Yeah,
JSON,
yeah.
things like this. So there's a learning curve, but it's a fantastic resource, especially for scouting systems like this, for your auto scouter, where you kind of want to preload.
Yeah, no,
information
that's
from
exactly.
events and stuff like
Yeah,
that.